and now we have one of the top Amazon sellers. So Jabran, you built a $700 million engine on a single channel, notoriously known for showing your Seller Central on your phone to everybody, which I think is amazing. We don't have it, unfortunately, but he'll show you after. And what was the one moment where you said Amazon could be the entire business?
Uh, Maybe sometime in 2014, when we hit maybe 10 million revenue in about 3 years, we're like, okay, this is what we're gonna keep doing.
Okay. Wow.
How long did you have your job for still while you started?
About 3 years.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. So, Jabran, how did this start? How did this happen?
Uh, I mean, you gotta start a business, you gotta have a basement because everything starts with a basement. So we had some towels in our basement that we had to get rid because they were blocking our table tennis. And we just figure out sell them on eBay, and that's how we started.
Okay, so are you good at ping pong?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so you started there, and that grew to how much?
Uh, you mean in the beginning?
Sure. Yeah.
So first year we did about 60K,
60K. Okay. So how did you jump 60K to a million?
like in 1 year.
Okay. That's back then. Now at 2025, almost 2026, what are you doing that's fueling your growth engine to a billion?
So we always grow by launching more products. So we probably have launched more number of products than any other seller on Amazon. So in last 15 years, maybe we have launched more than 1,000 unique products,
Okay.
not just the SKUs, just the unique products. So maybe 10,000 SKUs we even carry today.
So you cover that market though, the sheets, textiles, you cover that. How do you know what product to launch next? What's the strategy there?
So we don't restrict ourselves to the bed sheets because or the bedding because that's our biggest category, maybe 60%. But we look into every single category that's out there. We do apparel, we do outdoor, and we don't restrict ourselves to the category. We just look into the entire space and see where is the potential, where we can where we see like some weak space or opportunity, and then we check our feasibility and then we try to launch products there.
In what way is there weak space? Is it based on reviews? Is it based on the quality of the products, pricing, all of that, any of that?
So pricing is of course important, but also the positioning. So how the brands are positioning themselves, how good their packaging is, how good their product itself in terms of functional uses. So we own dozens of patents, and we have designed many unique products that we started and then that have done hundreds of millions of sales between us and our competitors over time. So you have to have a product that can have a better perception for a customer. And in order to do that, you not only have to understand the category, but also you need to understand the customer very well.
Let's go deeper on that. What does that mean? What's your next product launch you're doing?
We are probably going to do more than 400 product launches next year and focusing on mostly apparel, supplements in personal care, maybe some in furniture and pets too.
Okay, so let's start with one. Let's go with supplements. How are you launching that? What's the strategy?
So we go a very deep approach. We try to understand each and every competitor. So we have a concept of call. If we're getting into a new category, we have a concept called case studies. So we're gonna pick 10 biggest brands, and we're gonna have a team to develop their case studies. What is the company? But how they run their operation? How big their team is? Where their office is located? Where they have their supply chain? How they source their product? What is unique about their product? So we have like maybe a 60-page presentation about maybe one company. And let's say if we are getting into supplements, we know that we have to hire a pharmacist, we have to hire maybe a doctors who understand the category, and then we need people who have prior experience in that category. So there will be like a 6 month time where you will be not planning to launch any product. You're just trying to learn the category and develop in-house expertise. So you will bring people with minimal expertise, and after 6 months, they know everything about that category. And then you may probably start with 10 product launches.
And are you going to like trying to, become like a similar product to theirs, do something wildly different, slightly different? Like how do you kind of try to position yourself usually?
So you basically study the market space, like you understand like if this is a magnesium, how much their market size is, how much revenue and number of units it is doing, and you will try to understand which area is too competitive, which area is growing versus which area is not growing. So you wanna, let's say a category is growing 20%. So even with a new seller, everyone can still doing the same sales, and you can get some part of that 20% growth, but another category is dropping 20% year over year. So everyone will have excess stock in that category. So if you get into that category, you will also be facing with competition who will be going with very aggressive pricing.
And are you going for like, let's say, long tail to start off? Like, you know, because saying like, okay, we know we can rank because we've studied this category. We know that there's some long tail keywords that are important here. We can probably just rank for those. Or are you just going like broad and just like really going for it at the beginning?
So one thing we prioritize when looking for which product to look for, we want to find out what are the, I want to see like maybe a keyword that is in top 5,000, and I want to see that if a person search for that keyword, can you find that product uh, in so for example, I search maybe a magnesium or some other vitamins, and I want to see if the search results are relevant. If 80 to 90% search results are relevant, which means there is a very high frequency keyword, and I will not be merged with products which are irrelevant, and there's a good discoverability for that product, and then we can consider that as a good product because people can find it. But I think more importantly, you have to see that how much margins you can make with the marketing cost, with the storage cost, and what is different between you and your competition. Can you add any value? Because if everyone is offering the same thing, they can lower the price when you enter the market. So the price can't be the only thing. You have to have something extra besides just the pricing to compete there.
Interesting.
How do you get the bestseller badge in your way?
So you need to understand how Amazon algorithm works. So if you have the most beautiful bed sheet, could be made of silk, could have nice embroidery, or could be anything special about it, but that is not something the most number of people will buy, right? So Amazon algorithm just rank the product which is purchased by most number of customers, or maybe with the most highest amount of revenue that generates for Amazon. So if you want to get a bestseller badge, you have to get to the most basic, the most common item, because you may buy more solid bed sheets, but you don't buy a printed bed sheets every day. So you have maybe like, so you have to go with the type. If you're looking for a bestseller badge in a category, you have to see what is being sold most number of times, and of course the combination of number of units and the selling price to get the maximum revenue. And if you can achieve that, you can go up. But now there are two type of selling, right? One is Amazon basic selling, which is very low price and very competitive, and then you're selling most number of units, while there are sellers who are actually trying to capture maybe 1 to 2% of the market share. They're probably selling it a premium product on a higher price, and most of their sales are driven by marketing. So you could pick one of the strategies, and if you're looking for a bestseller, you have to go with the strategy where you are most competitive.
But is there a sweet spot for conversion rate with PPC or organic? Is there any sweet spots that you know about that's pretty secretive or that you'd?
So let's say if you want, I can give the biggest tip for PPC is the most common mistake where you can probably losing 20% of your PPC money, maybe more in some cases, is that campaigns going out of budget. So many of the campaigns go out of budget in 1 hour, 2 hour, right? And what does that mean? So if your campaign going out of budget in 2 hour and you actually bidding $1 for that campaign, you could have bid maybe 90 cents or 80 cents, and you could have lasted a day. So you're still up spending the same amount of money, but your campaigns are going out of budget very quickly. But if you put very low bidding, maybe 70 cents, then you will not spend anything at all, and then it may hurt your ranking. So the real challenge is put enough money, but keep monitoring your campaigns every day, not to go out of budget. So there is a report that you can generate from PPC that Amazon doesn't show, but in a big Excel report, you can see what is the time in budget your campaign is, and you just make sure and set up a KPI for your PPC team that I want 95%. I want you to achieve your spending goal, but at the same time, I want you to stay in budget for 95% of the time. With that KPI, you can potentially save 10 to 15% of your PPC cost, which could be a big number if you have a big account.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone talk about that before. That's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very hidden secret.
Do you
So,
not do any day partying at all, or?
you mean like splitting?
Yeah.
So we tried that for many years, but with this concept, because what you want to do is if you like spend for 6 hours, maybe it will hurt you because you're not spent. You could have used that budget for whole day
Whole
with
day,
lower
right.
bid,
Right.
right? There is still some people who want to start their campaigns maybe a later part of the day, because let's say if you have a really low budget and there are people who are not keeping an eye on keeping their campaigns in budget, so maybe you want to start later part of the day. So later you start, their budgets, some of them who are fighting very aggressively, they may go out of budget. But you don't want to start early and finish early. So you don't want to do it like early in the morning and finish in the morning. You want to start late in the day when some people who are going very aggressively with those keywords, they go out of budget, and then you're now bidding for, you're getting more clicks for less bids.
So would you have people monitoring? Because I mean, you obviously have so many products. You have people monitoring this actively, and maybe even increasing bids at night when some people go out of budget, and you can really take market share.
I mean, if you want to test it, you can have two campaigns, the one that run in the morning and one that run in the night for different duration, and see which one does better. You wouldn't get a huge advantage, maybe like a very fraction. But the other technique, which is like keeping campaigns in budget and running them for 24 hours, actually can give you a much bigger saving.
Just curious, 60-page summary on everybody. Is there anything in that document that you look for in the executive summary where it's a go or no go?
So on that product, so say your question again.
So in that summary that your team makes for
Right.
going into a new category and looking at competitors, and they make this 60-page document, which sounds very Jeff Bezos like. Is there anything in that audit that you're doing to create a go or no go in that category, or in that selection, whether it's whatever category it might be? Is there something you're looking for that it's a go or no go?
So the purpose of that presentation is not really a product feasibility or a category feasibility. I think every category is good. The 60-page document actually tells you that someone have done this before, like someone have built a brand in like 5 years, a clothing brand or a beauty brand or a supplement brand, and what was their path. So you're trying to relive that journey, and most of that information, it's not about, it's showing like their year-over-year growth. It's showing like what is their core strategy. Do they market on Facebook? Do they market on TikTok? Whatever information you can find online. And every company have a different journey. So let's say you build a case study on 10 different companies, and you find out one company that is closer to your DNA. So you have a certain skill that you have built over time, and you know that I'm not a company who sells something for a very high price and do very aggressive on a marketing. I sell something on a relatively average to a lower price, and I spend very little on marketing. So I try to like, so I don't want to follow Lululemon, right? If I'm doing an apparel brand, because their journey, I want to understand how they did it. We were like growing very fast, 50% year-over-year growth. And what we realized, two major challenges. One was that the tariff started in the first era. Some of our products were hit with 7.5% tariff, some with 25%. That impacted 15 to 20% of our business. That time, and we were also facing another challenge that every time we go to Canton Fair, our product is everywhere. All of our suppliers keeping 10 of our samples with our branding and inviting all the competition to make copies. And our company primary skill was product design. So we take a year to design a product, and then our manufacturer was just giving it free for everybody, right? And then there was no way to stop it. So the way we tried to solve that problem is we wanted to build manufacturing in-house. So we first thought about building in China. Then with the tariff challenge, we built our manufacturing in Pakistan, where I have origin from there. So it was easier for me to build over there. And that slowed our growth in last 5 years. But in last 5 years, we moved 50%, 90% of our manufacturing within our own facility. We make almost like 6,000 containers a year from there. So with that, now
6,000 containers a year?
6,000 containers a year. That's 15,000 workers working there. So yeah, that took like heart and soul, everything from me in last 5 years.
Aren't you like the number 2 or something exporter from Pakistan?
In the number of containers, maybe we're like number 1 or number 2, but in revenue, maybe like top 10 or 12.
That's incredible.
Why don't we take some questions?
Yeah.
Who's got a couple questions? And at the same time, feel free to ask questions about your own business and your own brand on Amazon and any struggles you're going through, because I'm sure he's gone through something very similar.
Especially if he's beating you in your market.
It's a very good point. Who's got a few questions? Why don't you go ahead?
You spend. So a lot of the previous speakers talked about TikTok or social media marketing or just any type of UGC or any other marketing. Do you spend most of your ad budget on PPC, like on Amazon, or do you also diversify into, TikTok or any other social media?
Okay, so every category is different and it works differently on TikTok. So for example, the TikTok top 3 categories are, beauty, personal care, supplements, apparel. Our home goods are probably like number 10. So we are only doing like maybe 10 million on TikTok. But what we learned with that experience is that you don't want to sell your product in every marketplace. You actually figure out the marketplace and design a product for that marketplace. So if you want to sell on TikTok, you have to pick a category that does well on TikTok, not just the category, but the product that works well on TikTok. So more than 90% of the products that are being currently sold on TikTok were originally designed for retail or Amazon. But there is a big opportunity to design products that is actually by thinking about a TikTok customer, and that can do wonders. And that's what our plan is for 2026. Similarly, we all talk about Walmart e-commerce, but if you see the third-party sales is not a big portion of that, but there is a huge market for Wayfair for furniture. They do like 13 billion, and it is all third-party sales. It is very comparable to Walmart third-party sales. But if you want to sell on Wayfair, you should get into the furniture category. So you should, when you go, let's say Walmart is selling basics and we sell basics, and Walmart is selling for like $7 bed sheet. It costs $7 to actually make a bed sheet, right? So you can't beat Walmart in basic products. But maybe if you have a printed bed sheet that is not there, and I see people are selling for $30 and they're making good profit there. So you have to understand the marketplace very well, and each marketplace is so much different than others. When we try to go from one marketplace to another, we just take the same products and same category and we expect the same results. But you should design, if you want to sell on TikTok, just come up with a brand new product. If you want to sell on Walmart, come up with a different product by just completely understanding the market first and your category in that market, and then design it for that. So we do most of our marketing currently on Amazon. It doesn't work well for us for Facebook or even DSP or other platforms. So all our marketing is currently focused on Amazon only.
At what point would you say for the average seller it's time? Because you famously told me, I was like, are you selling on Walmart? Are you selling here? Like a couple years ago? And you were like, no, right? And you were just focused only on Amazon. At what point would you say like someone should, try other channels,
So in 2019, we tried everything, and Jet.com, Walmart.com, and we had terrible results because it depends on your category, because it does well for some people because of the type of the category they are in. In our category, it didn't do well. But last year we tried everything. We tried Shein, Temu, TikTok, Walmart, Target, but not like maybe another couple of platforms. We are probably on Chewy as well. I believe the TikTok is probably the biggest opportunity outside of Amazon. And maybe like it depends again on your category. Maybe you can do well, but again, TikTok is probably the biggest opportunity out there.
What does your post-mortem process look like? So you launch 400 products, you have this 60-page sheet to decide the products, but then what's the post-mortem look like?
So that 60-page presentation is primarily focused on, it's a journey, because you first create a team, right? You create a full-time team that's going to work on, let's say, supplement or apparel. And when they make those presentations, it is actually a learning process for them as well. So you're actually training your team when they're making those presentations. So there is a process where you can select a new category. So for example, we want to get into beauty and personal care because of TikTok. So we already have the data to back up that it's going to work on TikTok. But now our team doesn't have expertise in beauty category, right? So now we are thinking about developing a team. So you need to build a team, then you need to build a process. So by building those big presentations in which you have people who have spent 6 months to prepare complete case studies on different brands, and maybe even talking with people who have previously worked in those companies, have provided like a lot of inside knowledge about those categories and how they actually did, because everyone's journey is very different from other, and you want to understand different journeys.
But what does a failure look like then? Like the postmortem on your launch, let's say it doesn't work out. Like, how do you decide when it doesn't work out?
So our regular launch process is that we just put aggressive price. We put the best images like everyone else. We feel that in certain categories, if you have a lower price, it goes against you. Like if you're selling maybe a vitamin and someone is giving it for $2, you don't want to buy it, right?
Right.
But maybe if someone is buying maybe a product that maybe a textile product, that maybe a washcloth, they may want to buy the cheapest one. So you first understand what customer is actually looking for, and sometimes the best way to get the first few reviews is by just offering the lower price. So you identify, you understand your product and see what may be the best bet for the customer. You maybe offer it for a couple of dollar loss, maybe gain some reviews and momentum. That's your first round. The first thing is that you want to make sure you're getting more than 4.3, 4.4 star reviews. If it passes that, give you maybe 30, 40 reviews. You maybe do the first launch with, if you're doing in US market, maybe 4,000 to 5,000 units. Then maybe if that does well and you do the second round, and your goal in the second round is maybe you come up with maybe 10,000, 20,000 units, and your goal is to see if you can do break even at the end of the round 2. And if the round 2 you can do break even, you now have 200 to 300 reviews. Now you can go aggressively in round 3, and that in this process, if you are unable to sustain it, then the product can fail.
So 3 rounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brandon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to know, you at your size, you have quite a big tech stack, I imagine, tools that you've built in-house. Describe what your tech stack looks like and what you're using, what analytics you're looking at on a daily basis, and your team is using.
So internally, we have a screen that shows the profit on a daily basis on a parent level. So we want to see that how much profit and loss each product is doing on a daily basis, and we monitor it closely. We also have PPC modules internally where you can actually see on a keyword basis ACOS and other data. And so all the important information, and we divide into teams, so you can only see your data. So if you're only managing 10 SKUs, you see those SKUs, and we have KPIs where people actually see that data on a daily basis, and they're supposed to like take action on a pricing or supply chain and others.
Go ahead.
How do you prioritize between adding new variations, launching products in existing niches, and launching new niches?
Sorry, come again.
How do you prioritize between adding variations to your bestsellers, launching products in existing niches, let's say in textile, like pillowcases and stuff, and adding new niches?
So again, if you're getting into new category, I would say just don't rush it. That's what happened to a lot of aggregators. They were like selling a wide variety. They were selling pet products and they were selling supplements at the same time. And there are some categories. So we started to sell air fryer, and we realized after 1 year it stopped selling. And then we didn't realize that the entire air fryer industry has changed, and now the air fryers have evolved to a different model. And unless you are sitting in a Shenzhen where that product is actually keep in the new trade shows, new models are keep coming, and you're keeping up with the technology. So it's very important that don't jump into a new category quickly. You probably like your best bet is in your existing categories where your team and you have the most amount of knowledge. And then maybe attend more trade shows, meet to more suppliers, do more research, maybe read every single review that's out there. Try to get information from as many data points as possible, and be cautious when you get into new category. Maybe like launch a couple of products. Don't just go like aggressively. So we will do this. We do the same thing. We are very cautious. I'm trying to get into the shoe line. It took me maybe a year and 6 months to design a shoe. Our first round failed, and now we are relaunching it maybe next month. It's already 2 years since I'm trying to.
Here, Jabran. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Take kind of way a focus on your Utopia brand versus going into new ventures. Like you make a case that spending all this time on a new venture and putting that just into growing Utopia even further would be more beneficial. So how do you weigh that trade-off?
So, I mean, I wasn't doing many new ventures recently because I was fully occupied with my manufacturing in last 5 years, and I'm now probably like turning my beast mode on, which means I'm probably doing everything that's entirely possible. I'm thinking about doubling my team size, getting into 5 new categories. So it depends how good you can manage your team and how good controls you have. If you are not able to finish your work in 9 hours or 8 hours, whatever it is, then don't do anything new. And if you can finish it in 4 hours, then you should keep doing new things. So how much management skills you have and how your teams are managed, I think that's the key. And if you have extra time at the end of the day, don't just sit on it, do something new.
You're a beast.
Yeah. Yeah. Over there, Aaron.
Hi. So when you're dominating your niche and your PPC is finally tuned in, you're profitable. How do you handle, or how does your team handle when a new competitor comes in, very identical and at a much better price point? How do you handle that? And ultimately, how do you decide whether or not it's time to throw in the towel and kill that product because it's no longer profitable due to that new competitor?
Okay. So you should assume that at the end of each year, you will lose 5% of your business because of competition and you can't do anything about it, right? So let's say you're selling a pillow, someone else will launch a better pillow, maybe with a lower FBA, maybe with better material, maybe better marketing, better images, and there is nothing you can do about it. And you will lose 5% of your business every year. That's why in our business plan, if I want to do 20% growth next year, I'm going to plan for 25% growth because I know that someone smarter than me will come and take 5% of my business away from me. You can't stop that. But what you can do is go against your best product in your best category and try to disrupt yourself. So let's say we sell an egg tray, right? And we are a best seller in an egg tray. And we know that someday someone will take away from us. But before someone does that, we design a better egg tray with a better lower FBA, which is more stackable, which have better quality. And now we disrupted, before someone else disrupted our product, we disrupt our own product. So you have to keep innovating. That's the only way, because in many categories, the innovation will always keep coming. Your competition will always keep. In some cases, you'll be able to win. In some cases, you are unable to win. And the only way to keep up that is keep coming with better stuff.
Last question. Go ahead. Yeah.
So your first preference to make, sorry. How do you choose what to make in your own factory versus making it outside of your factory? Like, is it your first preference to make it in-house, or is it just if you can make it, then you can make it, and if not, then you try and make it somewhere else?
So we don't design any product by thinking we can make in-house. That is not our priority, because one of the things that you see that many of the Chinese sellers, they are only trying to design, they're manufacturers and they want to sell on Amazon, and many of them cannot build more than a 10 or 15 million revenue business on Amazon because they always think in their own manufacturing spectrum. You should always start with the product regardless of what your manufacturing capacity or what your skills are. Maybe within your category, but should not depend. Product should be feasible on its own merit, on its own demand. And if the product is good, these are smaller things. Who makes it, where you make it, these are smaller issues to solve. Maybe you save few cents making in-house. And also making something new in-house, you can probably lose 6 months to a year to develop it, versus someone already making that product can give you quickly and you can launch your products faster.
Thank you, Jabran.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for having me.
think we have one